A man named Lerner is wandering in this ravine. He has another special type of robot in his bag, which is female and can also speak. It tells us that Lerner does not like the urban world, which is why he left everything and came here. When he started living in solitude, he created me. Wait, I wasn't always like this. The environment of the desert corroded my body over time, leaving only my head. Now, even my head has started having problems, but Lerner has promised to fix me in a few days because he's planning to go home soon. Let's see if he actually goes or not. Where did all this start? Lerner wasn't always alone. There was someone else with him. But who? Let's find out by going 982 days back, which proves that he's been living here not for several months, but for several years. Fortunately for him, they get water and food from time to time. Now, you might ask how that's possible in a desert. Well, this isn't Earth, it's another planet, and the time is thousands of years into the future when Earth has been completely destroyed. Lerner is wandering here, searching for a crystal. Let's see if he finds it. He takes his robot to every place, regretting that its body is completely destroyed, leaving only the head, which is now deteriorating. He tries to fix it but cannot. One day, after eating, he moves forward and sees a girl lying unconscious, with foam coming from her mouth. Seeing this, Lerner realizes she must have eaten a poisonous fruit. He gives her medicine, and she regains consciousness after a while. He explains that while some fruits look similar, only the ones with red color are safe, and the others are poisonous. The girl's name is Rala, and after saying something to him, she gets up and leaves without even thanking him. Lerner finds this strange since he doesn't have much to survive in this ravine either, but he ignores it and moves on. People in the city have written strange things about the desert and made false claims, scaring others from coming here. After going some distance, Lerner finds some debris that could be from a crashed plane. Seeing this, he becomes hopeful, thinking he might find batteries for his robot, which has been offline for the last 200 days. There's no use in carrying it along in this state. He eventually finds a box and, with great effort, opens it. However, it bursts and an iron piece hits Lerner's head, knocking him unconscious. His robot, being offline, is unable to help him. Time passes and Rala happens to pass by. She sees Lerner unconscious, but doesn't help him right away. Instead, she checks his belongings to ensure there's nothing suspicious about him. She carefully examines the robot's head, wondering how someone could carry such a thing in the desert. Rala then finds a journal in his bag, in which Lerner had written a story about a lonely samurai. She begins reading it while eating something. After finishing the story, she removes the metal piece from Lerner's head and bandages him. He regains consciousness after a while, and she tells him that she has read his book and he writes well. But Lerner is displeased with her behavior and warns her not to touch his things again. Rala then brings some fruits to eat, while Lerner starts searching for a battery among the wreckage. He finds one, and after many days, he brings his robot back online. The robot, happy to see him alive, repeatedly asks about the crystal, whether he found it or not. Hearing this, Rala becomes intrigued, wondering what this crystal is that he's been searching for so long. The robot soon goes offline again because the battery doesn't last long. But Rala's curiosity is endless. She keeps asking about the crystal, wondering if there's truly something magical here. Lerner laughs and says, "No, there's nothing magical here. How could there be a magical lake?" But Rala is convinced there's something more, because why else would someone get lost here? Answering her question, Lerner tells her he came here seeking peace from the city. But Rala is certain he's hiding something. She insists on joining him in his search, saying, "Together, we will definitely find that magical crystal." After thinking for a while, Lerner agrees, realizing that her company might help ease his loneliness. It's better than wandering alone. Lerner lays out a few ground rules for Rala. They will follow the path he chooses, travel only during the day because the danger increases at night, and most importantly, she shouldn't ask too many questions. Rala agrees, and they set out during the day in search of the magical lake. Along the way, Lerner gives her a water-extracting tool and instructs her to find water, while he looks for something to eat. However, we see Lerner standing beside his robot, deep in thought. He wonders, "I never programmed anything about a crystal lake into the robot, so how did it know such a thing exists?" He plans to find out when the robot is back online. Meanwhile, Rala struggles to extract water, but she spots something shiny in the distance, signaling her repeatedly. She informs Lerner and suggests they investigate, but he dismisses the idea, telling her, "If you get distracted like this, you'll never reach your goal. If you want to find the lake, stay focused and ignore these side attractions." Rala doesn't appreciate his attitude and refuses to drink the water she gathered. They spend the night there and set off again the next day. After traveling for a while, Rala finds some mined trees and uses them to enhance the taste of their water. As they continue their journey, Lerner attempts to repair his robot, but fails each time. In contrast, Rala is carefree and cheerful, enjoying the journey. One day, Rala notices someone else approaching them. As they get closer, they realize it's an old robot, much like them, wandering alone. Rala, out of concern for the old man, invites him to join them, but he declines, saying he has enough food and water and prefers to travel alone. Intrigued, Rala asks him about batteries, but the robot walks away without responding. Rala persists, asking him what he's doing here and if he's searching for something. Lerner interrupts, signaling her to stop asking questions, but Rala doesn't listen. The old robot finally answers, saying he came from the city to relax but isn't finding peace here either, so he's moving on. He leaves, but Rala finds the old man's words suspicious. She asks Lerner why he stopped her from talking to him, and he explains that the man didn't seem trustworthy and that he only wanted to protect her. "We have to take care of each other in this rugged area," he says. Rala laughs, finding his concern sweet. As evening falls, they come across the wreckage of a plane and decide to spend the night there. The next morning, Rala wakes up before Lerner and starts reading his journal again. She discovers that he has continued the story of the lone samurai, and now the samurai has found a girl, Rala. She realizes that Lerner is writing about himself and has added her to the story. When Lerner wakes up, Rala pretends nothing happened and joins him in searching the wreckage for useful items. Suddenly, Rala finds something strange that brings tears to her eyes, a solar panel charger. She shows it to Lerner, who explains that it can work as a part for his robot by charging old batteries. With the solar charger, they bring the robot back online. The first thing the robot asks is how long it has been offline. Lerner estimates it's been about a year. The robot then inquires whether Lerner has made any repairs to its body. Lerner admits he hasn't and apologizes. The robot notices that Lerner looks weak and asks if he's been giving all his food to Rala. He denies it. Rala then asks the robot about the last time it mentioned the crystal lake, and the robot recalls it, saying, "Yes, but now you are very far from there." Rala asks how long it would take to return to the lake. The robot estimates that based on Lerner's pace, it would take at least 2 weeks. Lerner reassures the robot that with the solar charger, it will stay online indefinitely. They continue their journey, guided by the map the robot provided, but the robot warns them that the path ahead is dangerous, and they may not find food or water. Rala suggests storing anything they come across along the way, and the robot agrees. However, this journey isn't easy for them. Lerner hadn't planned to embark on such a difficult quest, but he's doing it for Rala's sake. Deep down, he fears that after walking for so many days, he might not survive this journey. Rala's focus on the original goal of finding the magical lake begins to waver. She is no longer serious about the mission, and after days of wandering aimlessly, she suddenly decides they should build a body for Julia, the robot, instead. This surprises Lerner, who questions her decision, reminding her, "Don't you want to find the lake?" Rala insists that they do need to find it, but believes building the robot's body should come first. Lerner disagrees, feeling uneasy about her shift in priorities. He asks Julia for her opinion, and she sides with Lerner, reaffirming that the lake is their primary goal, and only after finding it should they focus on building her body. Rala, however, remains stubborn, refusing to listen to reason. Her attitude frustrates Lerner, though he stays silent and keeps his anger in check. As days and nights pass, they run out of food, and the situation becomes more dire. Julia urges them to keep moving, warning that they can't afford to sit idle. During this time, Lerner begins to understand Rala better. He realizes that deep down, she feels lost and without a clear purpose in life. She doesn't really care about the lake or any specific goal. She just wants to keep moving forward, without truly knowing why. For a long time, Lerner had his robot Julia, but he never succeeded in building a full body for her, which weighed on him heavily. He felt like a failure. Rala, sensing his guilt, encourages him, saying, "You are not a robot, you need to do what you love and live freely." After contemplating her words, Lerner begins to see the truth in them. He understands that he's been driven by guilt, and it's time to free himself from it. This realization makes both Lerner and Rala happy, and they continue their journey with renewed energy. However, food remains scarce, making their trek increasingly difficult. One day, Rala discovers some fruit, though Lerner warns that it might be poisonous. Ignoring his caution, Rala eats it anyway but suffers no ill effects. Julia is thrilled, knowing their food shortage is over. They now only have to find the lake. After 18 long days of walking, they finally stumble upon the lake, but it's not just a lake, it's an ocean. Overwhelmed with joy, they celebrate their discovery, bathing in the cool water after weeks of hardship. Their spirits lifted, Lerner makes several improvements to Julia's programming, allowing her to make decisions independently, much like a true AI. With their immediate needs met, Rala decides it's time to return to the city, so they can finally build a proper body for Julia. As their adventure comes to an end, we hear Julia's voice narrating the aftermath. They went back to the city, shared the discovery of the ocean, and soon, thousands of people came to live by its shores, creating a new and thriving community. In this journey, two important lessons emerge. First, things that are hard to achieve are often the most valuable, and we only realize their importance after obtaining them. Second, no matter how long or difficult a journey may be, having good companions can make the distance feel shorter and the challenges easier to bear. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.